Mental health. We're all talking about it.
As well, the mental health system isn't working.
Many of them in the grips of mental illness.
But talking just isn't enough.
We've actually seen an increase in the number of mass shootings.
My voice shakes and my grief is evident.
I'm running away from my own problems. I'm running away from facing what's happened to me in my new reality.
That's why Spectrum News deployed a team of reporters across the nation to take a hard look at where we are as one country, being frank about what's just not working.
80% of our counties are designated as mental health shortage areas.
And more importantly, what is?
I was in a dark place, and luckily I found people who related to me.
State by state, community by community, the suffering.
I still have symptoms.
And the solutions.
I get up, every day is a new day.
This is an honest snapshot of where we stand and where we are going in the state of mental health in America. Healing, support, solutions, recovery. I'm Dr. Nicole Cross, and this is the state of mental health in America. Let's start with some good news. Talking about mental health has gone mainstream. But despite pop culture, there is still work to be done.
There is something worse out there than being sad, and that is being alone and being sad.
The other thing about depression is it kind of collapses time.
And you're angry, and you should be.
With mental health taking center stage, is it actually getting better? That's the question. Mental Health America, one of the largest nonprofits in the country advocating on the subject, just released their 2023 State of Mental Health in America report. It uses public data as well as surveys conducted by groups like the CDC and NAMI to gauge how we're doing. In it, they estimate that more than 50 million American adults are living with mental illness, and more than 1 in 10 young people are struggling with depression. In both cases, more than half of folks suffering aren't getting the help they need. Although it may be difficult to do so, as the report found there's only about 1 mental health provider for every 350 Americans. Many of them aren't even taking new patients.
We need a huge paradigm shift around how we think about mental health in the nation.
Wisconsin leads the nation in overall mental health, while Kansas ranks the lowest. Kentucky was 11th, California 19th, and Florida came in 35th. Folks in Vermont have the best access to care, but California and Florida sit in the bottom half of the country, and Texas came in dead last. And very problematic, about a quarter of adults who sought help say they couldn't afford it, with 1 in 10 kids unable to even get insurance to cover it. To top it all off, Mental Health America says it's tough to really gauge what direction this is all going, as the effects of the pandemic continue to add to the cloud of distress sitting over our world. Let's get more from Mental Health America's Chief Research Officer, Teresa Nguyen. Teresa, it's great to have you with us. What is the state of mental health in America right now? That growing shortage of mental health providers is bad for patients as well as therapists. I recently spoke with 2 counselors at a clinic in Austin, Texas, about shouldering that burden. Take a listen.
Hopefully, today will be a good day.
Because that's what gets her on this drive each morning.
I have about 7 clients
who Asia Creary just wants to help have a good day.
So much to do.
So much in so little time.
I have a case where the person experienced racial trauma while giving a birth.
Asia and her team of therapists start every morning these days with a packed schedule.
So the fear is the hospital.
Yes.
Which in a way is good. That's why she does it.
I do it because it's necessary. I've created not only a safe space for other people, but I've created a safe space for me.
I just knew I wanted to help people.
For Asia's co-worker Shayla Wilson, it's specifically about helping kids struggling to have that good day.
And I work with kids that have depression, anxiety, some develop some obsessive disorders.
kids she sees herself in.
How adorable is she?
Sometimes even sees her own daughter in.
Because they endure a lot. They endure a lot, and they just want someone to ask them, what can I do for you?
But she's losing track of how many she's asked that question.
And so that's one piece.
Asia's whole team is. Because while plenty come to them for help, they need it too.
We need therapists. I feel like we just don't have enough.
Not enough to fill all the need here in Austin. And that's just a fraction of those coming to them for help.
I have clients that drive in from Killeen. I have clients that drive in from San Marcos. We have clients coming from everywhere.
While more people seek help than ever, most of the country sits in a deficit of therapists. But nowhere is it in worse shape than in Texas.
80% of our counties are designated as mental health shortage areas.
Would you believe we're up to 98?
Okay, when did that happen?
Yeah, it's recent.
That's a ratio of about 30,000 people to every one therapist.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Shayla says the weight of it all, of balancing the demand out there with her own mental health.
It weighs on you. It weighs on you. It's do I stay late? Do I go in early? It also feels like when you don't take on that extra kiddo or you don't stay late that you're telling someone no.
Is that guilt?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So the need cascades in from both sides. And Asia does what she does, tries to help everyone.
About 2 weeks ago, we were down at the state capitol,
lobbying lawmakers for help, the colleges and universities to train more mental health professionals. Can she solve the problem? She says she can help.
The mindset of every day is a new day works for me. I get up, every day is a new day, and every day is going to be a good day.
Because that's all she wants for anybody, to find that good day.
Second, let's do more in mental health, especially for our children. When millions of young people are struggling with bullying, violence, trauma, we give them greater access to mental health care at their schools.
President Biden talking about mental health at the State of the Union, bringing a once taboo topic to one of the biggest stages in the world. That's why we're spending this hour talking about the state of mental health in America, traveling across the nation and introducing you to those most impacted by these issues. The Biden administration has dedicated $300 million to fund mental health services and to help with staffing shortages. Let's now go to New York, where our Josh Robbins shows us this man's story and the consequences of not addressing mental health.
The darkness inside of us can feel heavy at times, but we can share the weight of it together.
Bringing attention to mental health through media or just by talking about your own journeys can help.
The best thing that prevails against those things is speaking with others, being open, being honest.
From celebrities to politicians to star athletes, more Americans are speaking openly about their mental health than ever before. And that's making it easier to talk solutions, like the new 3-digit National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. In just 1 year, 988 has already received more than 350,000 calls from across the U.S. Dr. Tia Dole, Chief 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline Officer of Vibrant Emotional Health, joins us now with more. So glad to have you with us, Dr. Dole.
Thank you so much for having me.
988 became a nationally available crisis hotline in July of last year. But the journey to get to that point began years before. Can you talk about just the collaboration and the support that's been received from so many governmental agencies? This hour, we are looking at the state of mental health in America, something we've heard a lot about in the aftermath of recent mass shootings.
I heard some of the stories. I was just overwhelmed with what these victims are dealing with.
A class project or a schoolroom project that was being done on, I believe it's what they were looking to do in the future. And on that paper, he wrote the words murder-suicide.
Between the mass shooting at Columbine in 1999 and May 1st of this year, more than 352,000 students have experienced gun violence at school. That's according to research by the Washington Post. This is Lexi Rubio, one of the 19 children and 2 teachers killed in the Uvalde, Texas shooting. I had the honor of sitting down with her mother nearly a year from when her daughter was murdered. We talked about the complexities of grief and the impossible act of moving forward.
Is advertising. He is in the room full of victims.
Then I started hearing the traffic from the scanner. The message came clear that it was something involving the school.
Uvalde Leader News reporter Kimberly Motz Rubio will never forget the moment when she first heard radio traffic coming across this police scanner
Party that's upstairs, second floor, hearing shots.
talking about an active shooter at Robb Elementary School. She ran a mile to the school and eventually to the reunification center, where she learned her 10-year-old daughter Lexi was among the 19 children and 2 teachers gunned down inside Robb Elementary.
I don't think I let myself grieve or really process immediately. I just hit the ground running.
Kim tells me what started as a mile was now a marathon.
This is my daughter's player card.
For a year now, Kim's honored her daughter's life with action, even when it hurt.
I'm a quiet person. I rarely speak up for myself. But when I become a mother, a power was instilled in me that remained dormant until June 8th, 2022, when I addressed Congress to demand a federal ban on assault weapons.
But there's another reason why Kim's putting foot to pavement.
I'm running away from my own problems. I'm running away from facing what's happened to me in my new reality.
We have to leave a man behind. We got all this.
It's just too painful. It's too painful to process the loss of a child in this horrific way. It is easier to just distract myself. I can't accept that my daughter's gone.
We avoid things we're terrified of.
Dr. Joanne Cacciatore is an Arizona State University professor and world-renowned traumatic grief expert. She has also suffered the loss of a child.
It felt like every cell in my body had undergone a transformation.
Dr. Joe says using activism to avoid grief is okay for a while, but in time and with support, the goal is to
approach, process, and ultimately integrate not only what this loss is, but perhaps more importantly, how am I going to remain connected to this person who died in a way that has meaning for my life?
It's a path Kim's not quite ready to travel.
I feel like if I open that door, it'll just be floodgate.
But until she is, she'll just keep running, eventually arriving at her favorite spot.
That's my baby. Just say hi, baby.
Lexi's mural.
So on any given day, this is the place that I would like to go.
Where her angel lives on.
It's just beautiful. She looks so happy. It's a good memory and peaceful just sitting here with her for a while. That's what I need sometimes, just me and my girl.
One in 5 parents told the Pew Research Center they are extremely or very worried about their child getting shot. But that doesn't even top the list of parents' concerns in America right now. 40% of parents say their chief concern is their child struggling with depression or anxiety. And that's not just a concern, it's reality. According to Mental Health America, 16% of kids between the ages of 12 and 17 reported suffering from a major depressive episode last year. That's more than 2.5 million young people. The numbers are grim, but every day people across our country are coming up with new and creative ways to address these issues head on. Spectrum News' Megan Marshall takes us to a school in Wisconsin where kids are being trained to help each other. Here on Spectrum News, we are uncovering the state of mental health in America. Our goal is to focus on solutions and hope. We spoke with Dr. Joshua Gordon, the director of the National Institute of Mental Health, who said we all have the power to help each other. Here's more. This hour, we've heard from veterans in California, lawmakers in D.C., mental health providers in Texas, experts from across the country, and more, all in an effort to understand what the state of mental health in America really is. Mental Health America's Chief Research Officer, Teresa Nguyen, is back with us now. We have taken a close-up look at many themes from your State of Mental Health in America report. Now what? Where do we go from here? How do we put the research into action? Thank you for spending this hour with us focusing on the state of mental health in America. We know life is uncertain and we've all been forced to deal with more than we could imagine. But there is hope. You are stronger than you know, and you are worth every effort to make positive change in your life. It is not too late. You are not alone, and you can do it. Take care.